important for us. Then the safety in China, it is very secure. You can place your phone anywhere and go anywhere you want. Then there are also numerous scholarships available for applicants. Even though there are various opportunities, there are also some benefits or limitations as the case may be. Like Google and other products are not working. Then the language barrier, sometimes you need to learn the language for you to communicate effectively with the immediate environment. Then some people ask me, can they get a job? No, in China you cannot study and also work at the same time, unlike in the other Western countries. So these are some of the few concerns. Then there are relevant opportunities. You can see relevant of surveying in China is one. It's purely practical. China has launched many satellites worldwide. They have various specializations in different disciplines, as you can see. Then there are also research opportunities and career projects after the graduation. I'm going to go through the application process. First of all, we need to start with the eligibility. For Chinese government scholarship, if you are applying for bachelor's, in most cases you need to be not more than 25 years. For masters, you need to be not more than 35 years, and for PhD, you need to be not more than 40 years. But there is also a specialized type of scholarship we call MOPCON. That one allows applicants up to 45 years. Some universities also allow applicants up to 30 years to apply for bachelor scholarships and admission. So usually the application starts from November to March. So like now the application is already ongoing, and some people have already contacted me. They have also started the application. Different universities have different deadlines for the application. The first thing to do is to search for the course of interest. Then we search for the supervisor, because unlike in Nigeria, in China, if you are going to be admitted, the first thing is to find a supervisor relevant to the research area that you want to conduct and get acceptance letter before you even get admitted. So there are also various documents that you need for the application process. The first one is international passport, which has to be valid up to September of the year you are going to be admitted. You need all your degree certificate or statement of results, but if your statement of result is not yet ready, like those that just graduated recently, you can get a letter of attestation from your HOD or registrar. Then you also need your transcript. You need also published papers, especially for PhD is very important. Then you need 2 recommendation letters from your former lecturers or anybody that knows you very well. For master's admission, associate professors can give you recommendation letters, but for PhD, in most cases, you need recommendation letters from professors. Then you also need a medical certificate. There is a form that you need to fill, and also police character report that you can get from the police, because they don't want to admit a criminal. They have to make sure that you don't have any criminal case against you in your country. Then most of the courses are either English taught or Chinese taught. So for English taught, you need English test, but for Nigerian applicants, in most cases, we were taught in English, so you only need English attestation letter. You may not necessarily need a certificate. Then for Chinese taught courses, you may need to have the Chinese certificate. Then you need to upload all the required documents on the CSC portal. In most cases, there are 3 different types of scholarship. Type A, which you apply through the embassy in Nigeria or through the Federal Ministry of Education. Type B, which is through the university, so you apply directly to the universities in China. And then the Type C is also another type of scholarship. But in most cases, I advise candidates to apply for Type B, which is between you and the university. You don't need to deal with any Nigerian factor, because in most cases, Type A, it is difficult to get because of the competition and who you know in most cases. There are other various types of scholarships, like the university-based scholarships. Some universities do give scholarships. There are also provincial scholarships, like just like our geopolitical zones here. The provinces also do give scholarship, and there are also ANSO scholarships, and they have different types of scholarships. So some of the scholarships are fully funded, whereas others are partially funded. Like most Chinese government scholarships are fully funded, which covers the tuition fee. The tuition is free, the accommodation is free, and you will be given monthly stipend. Like for Chinese government scholarship, you will be given 2,500. For bachelor, masters is 3,000, and for PhD is 3,500. I think with the current situation in Nigeria, 3,500 is around 800,000 naira monthly for the PhD applicants. So there is also comprehensive medical insurance, which is taken care of by the university. And Mumbo Scholarship also take care of the flight tickets for the applicants. These are some of the Chinese universities offering surveying and geomatics related courses. You can see the first one is Wuhan University, which is the top university and is ranked the first globally in terms of remote sensing. The second university is my university, China University of the Science, and there are many other universities offering surveying and geomatics related courses. So how do you apply for the scholarship? There are two stages. In most cases, firstly apply through the Chinese scholarship website, and this is the link of the website. You go there and create an account, then you apply. You fill all the necessary documents, like you can see here. You need to fill all the necessary documents and upload the recommendations letters and other things. Then the next thing, in some universities, you also need to apply to the university portal apart from the Chinese government scholarship portal. So after you finish the application and uploading all the other documents, then you need to wait for the document to be assessed. For the applicants, there are various tips that I share so that you can be successful in your applications. In most cases, you need to be proficient in programming languages, and age limit also matters. And you need to get an acceptance letter from the earlier said. And also you need papers from your some level of research experience. Then you also need to register and attend conferences to boost your chances of getting. So these are some of the tips, and you can also get connected to some of the professors via their Google Scholar, ResearchGate, and other links, and get to know them before you apply. So after you apply, the next thing is to wait for the university to approve your application, then forward the application to the Chinese government scholarship. Then the Chinese government have the final say. They will approve the scholarship. Then the university will notify you that, yeah, you have won the scholarship. Form. Then you need to apply for visa, book the flight, and then travel and commence your studies. And when you are in China, you need to be law abiding, because here they are very strict. Whatever you do, even in your bathroom, it's possible that they are seeing you. So you cannot hide. Whatever you do, they are seeing you. And since when I came to China, the securities have never asked me about my passport, because once your visa expires, they know your location, they will go and track you wherever you are. Then you need to participate in most activities when you arrive here, then publish more papers. That's what will make you to have more opportunities for subsequent scholarships. Then you can join other professional associations. Then you may also need translator and other navigation apps. When you are in China, you also. So this is our university. I want to briefly talk about university, which is China University of the Science. It was established about 70 years ago. It's one of the high-ranking universities in China and globally. We are fourth in the world in terms of earth sciences and eighth globally in terms of remote sensing. And we offer scholarships in master's, PhD, and also in bachelor's in surveying and geoinformatics. And the masters and bachelors, the masters and PhD are English taught courses, whereas the bachelor is Chinese taught courses. So I also want to briefly share about my experience in China, some of the activities that I participated, which I think is very relevant for us. You can see these are some of the series of activities I participated. The first picture by my right side are some of my students, now my professional colleagues. Abdul Salam is from Kano. Last year I called him and I encouraged him to apply for the scholarship. Unfortunately, he applied and he's presently studying in China.
No, Surveyor Adamu, please share your screen.
Okay. You cannot see the screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, yeah, but it's not shared.
Okay. Can you see it now?
Just continue.
Can you see the screen now? I've already shared it from here because it's already shared.
And we cannot see you.
So, wow.
Just continue because of
so
the
should
time.
me just share it to you. Okay, so these are, like I said, unfortunately you cannot see the screen. These are some of the pictures from some of the activities I participated with some of the students that have already joined me here. Some of them were my students, were already here. And I think that's all. Since you cannot see the screen, I need to share it. That's all I have for you. You can ask the relevant questions that you have. I've shared the screen, but unfortunately you cannot see it. And so that's all from my side. Thank you for listening.
Okay, we'll quickly take questions since Bala is online. If anybody has a question for Bala, he said you have to get your supervisor first. Now, I think he mentioned how to get the supervisor, because the difference between we and them is here you go to the university, they assign you a supervisor. There you get a supervisor before the university admits you. So, Bala, could you repeat again how you said we could get the supervisor? You mentioned where we could check to get a supervisor who will supervise the candidate. Could you mention it again? Let him.
Also, the first thing is to identify the university that offers your course, then go to the university website. Then from the university website, go to the faculty or the departmental website. When you visit the departmental website, there are a list of all the professors and their email contact and their research interest on the university website. So all you need is to check which professor is relevant to your research area. After checking that, then you get his email contact, then you send him email that your name is so, these are your credentials, and you would like him to be your supervisor because you want to apply for Chinese government scholarship. So after you do that, if he is interested in you, then he's going to give you a recommendation letter that he has accepted you and he is ready to supervise you. So that is how you get the supervisor. But in most cases, because they receive many applications, sometimes they may not respond. So if they don't respond, then you need to search in up to the time you are able to get the supervisor. So that's how you mostly get a supervisor.
Okay. Dr. Shaibu, go ahead.
I would like to ask Dr. Bala a question, because actually it's not just only the university when you see a supervisor. Normally their profiles are being displayed, and sometimes their research areas or research interests. Normally you don't go abroad and choose a supervisor if he doesn't have a project or a research area, except where you developed your own research, then you will be able to be accepted. Because one of the major problems that we are having with our students is lack of extensive reading to identify areas of further research. If you don't see gap, so I don't know whether in China it has some difference with...
No, Dr. Shaibu.
Just trying to...
No, Dr. Shaibu, don't. He said you will search for the professor who has similar interests as yours. Then you send him a mail.
Yeah.
If you don't find, you keep searching.
It's all right.
So, next question. Yes, please.
If I may respond, like Mr. just said, there are thousands of professors here, and most likely that you are going to find the one that is relevant to your research area. So all you need is just to contact him and let him know. Yeah. And there are in some cases, they don't expect you to have a research gap or whatever it is. They only want you to make sure that you have the research potential. So if you have the research potentials, they know that they are going to train you, they are going to give you some resource that you can, maybe that will mold you to increase your research competency so that you can join the lab and continue. So in most cases, the supervisors also have their ongoing researches. So far your research is somehow related to that, or you have interest in their research area, they can also admit you. Not necessarily when you have your topic at hand.
Okay. Thank you, Bala. Yes, there's another question for you.
Good afternoon, Surveyor Bala. My name is Rolambo. Actually, your presentation is already like an orientation for us. And what we should do is to follow website and what you have presented. We would like that to be prepared in a document that we can still follow up with. But one question I want to ask is actually more of a psychological question. China, before now, is not a destination, a preferred destination for students because of language barrier. You talked about it. But being an ambassador now, because you have really presented very well, being an ambassador, would you just tell us that the culture shock and the likes of it is one of the things that affect students, even their performance? Brilliant students can perform very low. If you will be able to share with us, so that when somebody that is preparing his mind to come and be like you gets there, they will not say, Surveyor Bala didn't tell us that there are things that you could also meet. And if
he told us, Arolambo, he told us. He said, everything you do there, they know. They will, if you are going to do a research in English, he told us.
No, I'm not talking about language alone.
He's online.
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
Hey, don't glorify. Sit down.
Sir,
Dr. Zumo,
sir,
sit down. No, he told us. He already told us.
That, you couldn't see the screen I share. However, I already shared the PowerPoint presentation. So all the...
He has told us.
All the application process is there in detail.
Yes.
That is the first. Secondly, there are many Nigerians here. We have a group of PhD students alone that are more than 1,000 here in China. So it's just that many people are not aware of the publicity is low, and that's one of the things that I understand. Even most of the survey-related courses, people getting admitted are not actually surveyors. And I felt surveyors should be the one getting admission at masters and PhD. It's one of the things that motivated me to even make these presentations. Because in most cases, you will see the people getting admission at masters and PhD in surveying, they don't have background in surveying. So that is that one. Then concerning the cultural shock and other things, I can tell you many Europeans are even here. There are people even from France studying here, from Germany, from Ireland, many countries you can think of. It's just unfortunate that the China lacks the publicity, so many people are not aware of what is going on. When we had our cultural activities some few weeks ago, we have different people even from Europe, any part of the world you can think of. People are coming here to study in China. So I don't think that one is much about it. Like I said, one of the culture shock is here, you need to learn the language for you to communicate effectively. But that doesn't mean you cannot communicate. Within the university environment, you can communicate. Just like in Nigeria, in northern Nigeria, sometimes if you understand English a lot, you can communicate in ABU. But when you go within the villages, you need to understand Hausa for you to be able to communicate fluently with the immediate environment. So it's also similar to China. So I think it's just the lack of publicity which I'm trying to correct. And secondly, the issue of many people getting admission into survey-related courses, they don't have background in surveying. I'm happy that at least 2 of my students have joined me here last year and they got admission, and I hope to see more. Currently, some students have even gone far in their application. And this reminds me to even mention I have a WhatsApp group that I created guiding some of them. But I only bring those that are diligent and are ready to get admitted, because somebody was asking me, can you get a job here in China, but you cannot come if you cannot get a job. Here in China, you cannot get a job, but the scholarship coverage covers everything for you. You can even save something apart from the scholarship. Thank you.
Okay, Bala. Ni hao. Say. Are you with me, Bala? Hello, ni hao. Okay, Bala. Okay.
Presenter, please.
Okay, if you can hear me, please. One of the reasons why we Nigerians we used to go to outside the country is to at least to see how can we contribute in addressing some of our problems within the country. Hello? Are you with me? Hello?
Ali, you need to unmute your mic so that I can hear you.
Hello? Are you hearing me now? I say ni hao.
Tambishi question da Allah.
Okay. From China. Now, one of our problems is that why you can study PhD is at least to contribute in solving some of our problems within the country. In doing so, you would identify a problem, you propose your synopsis, send it to university, look for supervisor. Some of them accept you to come. But after you come, you have registered, they will try to convince you or to confuse you to change your project topic to something that will address their own problems. I have similar nasty experience with some of the Nigerian students overseas. Some of our students here who is in Kano, in Kaduna, they will be studying corals, something under the sea. I don't know in China, is it the same? Are you getting this? Some of our Nigerian students that are having these nasty experiences, going there with beautiful research proposals that will address our problems. At the end of the day, they will come up with something that is not relevant to Nigeria. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, sir, for your question. The way I will respond it is this. Sometimes it depends between you and your supervisor. In most cases, that's why I said you need to find a supervisor and have a common agreement on what you are going to research on. For my own case, one of my study areas is in China and the other one is in Nigeria. And my supervisor specifically chose that one for me. So it all depends on your supervisor. They want researches from different parts of the globe, not necessarily in China. In fact, most of the researches are already congested in China. And they want to know what Nigeria is. Most of you that know China, they know that they want to know what is going on in other countries. So they always welcome researches that are, maybe your study area is in your country. They will not compel you to kind of carry out research in their own country. But like I earlier said, it also depends on the supervisor. Some supervisors already have their own research grants and they may want you to carry out research based on their own research grants. Thank you.
Could I, we want to thank you, Dr. Bala. We are happy that you have some Nigerians with you, your students. May I, with the permission of the House, ask another Bakatsine to thank Dr. Bala for us. It is not often that somebody goes there and does what he's doing. And we are very proud and happy that he's doing it. I've not heard of anybody in any region doing what Dr. Bala is doing. Could I beg Dr. Alhaji Nasser, everybody from Katsina is a doctor. Alhaji Nasser Umar to congratulate your state. Alhamdulillah. Give. Dr. Bala, this is Alhaji Nasser Umar. He's from Katsina.
Are you picking?
I know him very well, and he had worked with my daddy, so he's very familiar. He
worked with your dad, Alhamdulillah. So here is your father at home, second father.
Thank you, Dr. Bala. You are doing us a lot of pride. Let me go small down memory lane. Say that I think you have inherited the traits of your father. Because I remember very well that as far back as the 1970s, your father was just a primary school leaver. We sent him to Polytechnic to come and train he studied elementary surveying with his primary certificate. After some years, he went back and studied intermediate surveying at Kaduna Polytechnic. And then he went further and did advanced this, right? So there is no sky the limit. I'm not therefore surprised when many years later, he told me that his son is studying surveying at ABU. I was so excited. So the issue goes beyond your family. You're doing a lot of pride, not just Kaduna, but Nigeria as a whole. I think in this hall, I would say I'm one of the most excited people to find people like you going upstairs. And our generation, we're phasing out gradually. And when we look back, we said we have no regret because we're people who will inherit us and continue. So I can go on and on, but I know there are quite a number of people coming up like that. Only last 3 weeks, I saw another person whom you got into a Chinese university. He's studying geomatics, and incidentally, he is from my own local government, my own hometown. But I don't know the league. Dr. Bala, we are very, very grateful for what you're doing. Keep it up. The sky is the limit. Well done, well tried.
Bala, listen to this Mainedi from Kano.
Bala, I am the father of Abdusalam, who is with you now. So it's just a confession. I'm very grateful. And the support you are giving him and the encouragement you are giving him, I just want to appreciate in public and confess. My son is the Abdusalam he mentioned just now. It's my first biological son. I'm very grateful. Thank you.
Continue uplifting the younger ones and always share what I know or what I have for others to benefit. Like I earlier said, we have a WhatsApp group for applicants that are interested. I am already guiding some, but I only admit those that are interested. So anybody who is interested to join, it doesn't matter where you come from. And my assistant is not only for the northerners. Everybody is welcome, wherever you come from, whether not even in Nigeria, even if you are from other country, you can contact me and join the group, and I will guide you. Some people from the southern part of Nigeria have also contacted me, but unfortunately, some of them, they are more interested in European countries than probably because they don't know what is going here. Thank you so much, and God bless all of you.
Amen.
Doctor.
Hold on. Why we gave Surveyor Kabir is because Kabir is the African regional chairman for FIG, and Dr. Bala had suggested not only for Nigeria, but also for the whole of Africa. And I know, as we all know, Kabir is the contact within the country for that. So we wanted him to say a word to Bala. It's a partnership, you know, and NSF is very proud that these gentlemen are here and that somebody is benefiting. At the same time, we are very happy that we have visitors that are listening. This is the way we can build our nation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam Bala. It's just almost 1 month now since we parted with him in China. We were both at the United Nations World Restoration Information Congress 2024 June now, where I presented a paper on Africa and the spatial development, and he made a significant contribution. I think about 3 or 4 times we met in China with Madam Bala, and in fact, I always say he's a very good representative of Africa in China. Almost all the higher institutions in China, they know him and they give him very, very high regard. This, I think, is on account of his background that was mentioned by my elder, Alhaji Nasir Umar. And I think after leaving employment with Alhaji Nasir Umar, his father worked under me for almost 20 years until he retired. In fact, I supervised Adam Bala, and Adam worked under me too. So it's not new to me, and I'm not new to him. We are really cooperating and working hand in hand on the way we can promote not only Nigeria but Africa globally. Surely, by the grace of God, during dinner, I will make some more explanations as to what he has said, particularly on the China-Africa geospatial information cooperation that is already on ground now. Thank you so much, Adamu, for coming. We are very glad to have you once again. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Dr. Bala, we want to especially thank you. We hope you can hear us. We wish you more, I don't like that grease to your elbow. No, but we wish you more of God's guidance. We look forward to more people benefiting and be able to speak Mandarin. We thank you again for your paper and your information. There are people here that are from the South-South, from the Southwest, and the Southeast. So this message that you've given will get to everywhere within our nation. And we are very happy that you are the conveyor belt. Thank you again very much. That's very touching. It's very touching. Very touching. Some of us have skills and opportunities and we hide it. You know, it's like when we were writing WAEC, you cover your answer. Nobody, and then we started learning how to giraffe. We know only Nigerian builds a periscope without you putting a mirror. You will see over your hand into your. But here is a young man telling the whole world, wallahi, God bless him. These are models. This is what makes me happy inside. You know, that there are people like this. In other words, if my generation is not good, there is a good generation coming. Alhamdulillah. Now, we've had the papers that they presented to us. We had from Anas Masood, who gave us about geospatial intelligence and its multi-purpose use for geospatial analysis. He also presented to us, thank you Masood, the fact that they have storage facility. One of the problems in geospatial thing is proprietary rights. That is, it is my data, I have gotten it, it is mine. So, but if he says they have storage, now the reason why I am emphasizing on this is because ESRI suggests you put it on the cloud. That cloud is not that it's in the sky here, it is in a hardware in the United States, in Connecticut. So if a Nigerian agency, Masood, could you tell us your agency again so that everybody will know?
The agency is Defense Space Administration. We are sharing border with NASDA.
Defense Space Administration. Defense Space. In other words, whatever data you have about Nigeria, the metadata is what they're asking. You could give it to them and it will be in Abuja, near Lugbe there. It is better for it to be in Lugbe than to be in Connecticut. Because what proprietary right says is that my data is my data. But whatever data you have in Nigeria is Nigerian data, Coco, and it can be kept in Nigeria. We have come of age. Wallahi, we have come of age. So we don't have to go to the cloud. And I say this because there are academics here. So instead of going to the cloud, go to Masood. If you don't have his number before you leave here, get Masood's number. Anas. Wallahi. Thank you, Anas. If anybody has, he says they have partnership. They want partnership. Some of us are from academics here. And we want to do research. And we are saying we need interdisciplinary research. Uju's paper was on flood vulnerability, which means the surveyor, yesterday we realized that only the surveyor cannot do flooding. That's true. The source of our information is a 30-meter resolution terrain model. That 30-meter resolution means that water that will be flowing in this room will not be seen. Because the 30-meter resolution, for example, this whole house is not up to 3 meters. So 30 meters up, River Kaduna has covered the bridge. That's the one Uju's data will see. But we are suggesting that there are other means. And how can we get those means for flood? The Secretariat will spread to all the Surveyor Generals an organogram that is suggested so that we have surveyors embedded in those agencies. If we have surveyors embedded, then we can begin to get those information. We can have interdisciplinary research, and then our country will be better organized. She highlighted in her own paper the fact that surveyors in agencies, it is only OSGov that has surveyors in most of these agencies. As we speak, we don't have directors of surveyor in any state. The nearest to what we are looking for is Adamawa State. So we want to thank the people from Adamawa for that. Now, Malik's project is also something that needs interoperability. You can't choose a grazing research, a grazing ground without knowing the soil type. A surveyor is not the specialist in soil type and fertility of the soil. You won't put cattle where the grass cannot grow from irrigation. So we need this interoperability with interdisciplinary, but somebody is offering us a source of storage of data, because like they all said, the data that will come from this is huge. And you don't want to spend your money on a big storage system. Use ANAS. Use Uju's skill. Use Surveyor Malik's knowledge. So I would like to, for Malik, I want you to understand that it is not only the ground that gives us, I like to say this because there are people from Yobe. Now, if you know Yobe of the days, those days, when 20 trailers leave Pottiscombe every day, that was because Pottiscombe was the livestock market in the northeast, wasn't it? Now, so we need transportation. We need other infrastructures that support livestock. So at the same time, Malik will need information from all the states. It's not enough to show me everywhere in Zulu Emirate we can put it. Okay? Aishani Sami will not agree. You know, you put them somewhere. Otherwise, there will be no space for development. We have to have more than cattle. Okay? So if there are questions, please address who your question is going to so that he can answer directly. And because we are short of time, we'll take only 4 questions. Elijah Sani, Surveyor Sani Yabo, please.
Chairman, my question goes to Surveyor Malik. I was very much interested when I saw the title Grazing Reserve. The choice of Grazing Reserve in Zulu Emirate. We are very close to Zulu, so I put keen interest to hear what are the measures taken to have a grazing reserve site. So what is missing is that yesterday we heard about the security, and even the theme of our discussion is the land survey enhancing security measures. I was trying to hear where and how can we really put the security measures, because nowadays the banditry and the terrorist sellers are there. And customarily, we normally put our grazing reserve outside the community, very far away from the community. Now, if there is no measures of security, really we are allowing our cattle to go freely with the cattle rustlers. So I think somewhere, somehow, we should try in as much as possible to include the security measures for our cattle. Thank you very much. That is.
Baba Surveyors Saniabu, my mentor. Yeah, I acknowledge your contribution. It will be looked into in next symposium. Thank you, sir.
Surveyor Adewale. This one too is from KBI.
Thank you, sir. The chairman. My name is Surveyor Adewale Adebayo from Kebbi State. No, not from Zulu. Okay. For the first presenter, the chairman has actually did some clarification. So I will not ask questions on the first presenter. But for the second presenter, when you were showing us the shapefile of your study area, you told us that there is a portion, that is, I think, the blue portion, maybe because of the screen. There's a portion that you call the River Niger. And then you, in your analysis, the outcome of your analysis, you also showed us that there are places where is, I think, low vulnerable, high vulnerable, and the other ones. Now, you said the most vulnerable area, which interprets that these are the areas that are more likely to have flood. Do I get it?
Yes.
Are the ones in red color?
Yes.
Okay. But when you show us the flow, that is the ammunition, I discovered that water didn't get there. Water only flowed from these other places. It came from the Niger, flowed to other places, and it didn't get to those red places. So I don't know what really happened. Maybe there was a misinterpretation there. Okay. And then I think it is also necessary, maybe this is an observation anyway, I think it is also necessary that you indicate the settlement that will be affected, because you never indicated the settlement. You just showed us the whole of the local government. You didn't bring in the local government, I mean the maybe words, for example, or that will be affected, because I know the whole local government cannot be affected. It has to be some particular area that will be affected. And then apart from the people, or let me say this, that I noticed that part of your data, you didn't include population. And I think population is also very important, because people will be affected. And so we should be able to know, as an administrator, we want to know how many people are going to be affected if this flood takes place. So I think that is very, very important. And then the farmland, I don't know whether in your land use land cover, you did anything on farmland. So if you didn't, I think it is also important, because the life of the people is their farm. If you take the farm from us now, all of us will die. And that is why we need to know how many farmlands, how much of that farmland will be taken over by the flood, the area. I hope you are taking notes. Okay. Then, sorry, I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry, sir. Now, I don't know if you actually compare. Are you getting me, ma? Okay. The area that is covered by your study, I don't know if you total it, if you try to find out the total area and compare it with what you got when you added all your study area. I mean, all your area vulnerable or not vulnerable. I don't know whether you understand what I mean. You understand what I mean?
Comparing the total area of the local government,
yes,
to the area of those places affected by the flood.
The total sum of the area. Because I was trying to do that, although this could be an approximation. Anyway, I got an approximation from the Google Earth. Okay. The total area is 387.7 kilometers square. And by what you displayed, what I got is 375 kilometers square, meaning that 12.7 kilometers square is missing. And as a surveyor, you should know the implication of that. Sir, can I continue?
So let me rush. Yeah.
The last person. No, I have for one more person, not for her now.
No, for me.
No, sir, for the next person. This for the next person. This not for her. Yes, the next person, sir. Okay, Surveyor Maliks. Surveyor Maliks, please. You, in your study, thank God for Surveyor Yabo that gave some light into some of the things that I want to ask. But it is necessary that we know the distance from the settlement. What is the distance from the settlement in your, is it criteria what you choose? We should be able to know or I don't know which offset you use for the distance between the settlement and the grazing reserve. The chairman has said it. I wanted to say that the Zulu Emirate will not give you their whole land for herdsmen. So you will need to specify for us. You need to give us a specific area where an administrator will be able to cite that place for grazing reserve. Thank you, sir.
So thank you very much, sir, for the comments and questions, observation. So when I talked about the study area, when I said at the right-hand side, I was talking about the boundary of the local government. But when I mentioned River Niger, that was in the flood vulnerability map. I said the blue side, that is not a shapefile. That is the result of the work. But with the shapefile embedded on it, if you can go to that slide, yes, so this is my study area, which I said this is the boundary delineation. I didn't mention about the water there when I said at the right-hand side. So can you go to the result of the this thing? So now, when I did my classification, is right there. Classification, we have 4 classes. We have the water body, the built-up area, the bare land, and the vegetation. But due to the poor quality of the screen, you are not able to denote it. It's also in my methodology. The methodology workflow, I listed all of them out there. Then you talked about population. Well, I will have to include it in the next research because it's beyond the scope of this research. Population was not taken into consideration. I don't know. And which one?
What she said, I'm happy she said that. It's work in progress, isn't it? She has indicated she would look into it. I also want to give her information. There is a surveyor, Ebebike, who is now in Enugu, he was Commissioner of Environment in Anambra, and he worked on this thing you are talking of. I think it would be nice in your future if you contact somebody like that. Bk is also a civil engineer who studied in America. He knows that's his specialty. That's why they brought him to be a commissioner. Okay. The other point you raised is the fact that in that DTM, that red spot was the highest point. She didn't indicate that. There is no way water can flood that red spot. That red spot was, if you see those red spots, those are the highlands. She, in error, reversed it. And that's why the water couldn't cover it. Water, unless it's dynamic heights, where in geodesy water can go from up to down. Okay, let's just leave it and she will look at that. Okay, thank you. I think Surveyor Malik. Wait, maybe you.
Please, can we go to the vulnerability map, please? No, the map itself. Yes. So, this is the upper part, right? So let's go to the way it was positioned. No. The vertical position of the modeling. Yes. So when you look at it, you will see when it's flowing, flow it, because there is a river there. If you look at the imagery, the satellite imagery, that's where we have like the Demili and other rivers. By that side, that is why the model we use, that particular center. When you look at the dam, I don't know. Yeah, okay.
He's an academic, Tokaga. So the two of you will settle this thing. It's interesting. We thank you very much. She would look into it. I think our elder man wants to say, Dr. Zumo, very, yes, sir, go ahead.
My distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I am particularly, but I want to sound a word of caution, please. I think all these presenters have done a wonderful job. And honestly, it doesn't make sense to begin to argue on a paper like it's discouraging. If you have specific things, particularly where somebody is wrong, and you have all the opportunity to meet him outside and discuss it, I think it doesn't make sense to now begin to argue with a paper presenter, even while he's doing it. So I think in the future, please let's look at that. Now, Malik, I am a farmer, and I farm grass. So, again, somebody was talking about forest reserve, and he's saying that, like, what you are doing is, choosing a forest reserve, but I doubt it. I think forest reserves are gazetted areas. So it's not a question of, when he says forest reserve, I thought that is enough description to identify that he is using particular areas that are already gazetted and belong to particular things for grazing. It's not a question, perhaps my suggestion in your next research is to look into how you make those grazing reserves more productive. Like I said, I farm grass. So there are a lot of new types of grasses that grow very easily and that multiply very easily, and that within a short period you get to change the whole protein content of areas. Not only are they more productive, but they also have a lot more protein content. I understand if you look at mulatto 2, Brachiaria mulatto 2, that can easily be grown in such forest reserves, you will notice that the grass, Mulatto 2 produces maybe 20 to 22% protein content, whereas our local grasses would have something like 7.5, 7.5. So you see the range. So I think in the future, perhaps you should see whether you can begin to suggest to take some area in which you apply such, growth of such grasses that are very, very common now in Nigeria. Like I mentioned, Brachiaria, Mulatto, there are many others. Super Napier, many of them, that would improve the carrying capacity of all your forest reserves, and which perhaps would make you even domesticate some of the animals that are moving around, because they are going there looking for food and water. And if you can do some such similar things, which I saw the World Bank was already cooperating with, I think, the Arab Development Bank and Kano State Government. They've started such programs in some of the forest reserves in Kano. So perhaps in your area too, you should look at such arrangements, and hopefully the next research will tell us some of the great things that you have done. But I congratulate you a lot. I thought some of your researches, I'm so happy with all the people who presented papers today, because I think they are thinking out of the box. Most of the times I go to NIS programs, some of the papers that they keep presenting are honestly pedestrian. But you are looking at papers that can make a difference. And I think if you develop them, I think you'll be helping communities. I thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. I think Dr. Zumo.
Chairman, sir. My own is just contribution to Malik's paper, which is on grazing reserves. It's my area actually. Now, number one, my contribution is most grazing reserves in Nigeria, or most researches on grazing reserves, they used to forget one thing, which is the grass budget. Now, the grass budget, which my elderly here is saying, you have to quantify the amount of grass in a grazing reserve that will sustain the cattle or whatever for a given grazing period. Many of our, even the institutions, government, they are not doing that one.
That's what Sovionadu said. Doctor, you are saying the same thing.
Okay, sir.
That's what Sovio Yaya just talked about. He gave us information that African Development Bank are doing things with Kano State. Dr. Zumo. Okay.
There's another, sir. Most of the grazing reserves, again, probably, you may not know, they were being chopped off by so many organizations, by government officials. Well, I don't know, because I did some research on that one, and it is very, very difficult for you to get even the data relating to the grazing reserves. Most of these grazing reserves were being torn to farmlands. Please, probably, in the course of his own research or in the course of his investigation, it will be an opportunity for him to solve this type of problems.
Dr. Sovio Yaya used a cadastral word. He said gazetted. That gazetted means nagomdeni. Okay. But having said that, Dr. Zumo, thank you very much. The point he's raising is what Sovio Yaya had said, and he just gave us the fact that people are infringing. Now, I am happy that we have some surveyor generals around. What is happening, what Sovio Zumo, Dr. Zumo is highlighting, is why we have to have a director of survey in forestry, so that those gazetted land, he will do the what is it they call, the time lag mapping of each one, and he will know when they have encroached. But as we speak, no state, except maybe Adamawa, has 6 directors. So who says no vacancy for admission, employment of surveyors. Only Adamawa has 6 directors of survey. Let me have Nadu, not even Kanu. Go. Not even Kanu. You know, Badamasi. It's to show you how we have to get to where the journey ahead of us. We will make some information with the permission of the chairman of the forum. There's some information here that we're giving to all the surveyor generals. It's a suggestion that we want to work on it. Some of these papers that are presented, you need somebody, like we said yesterday, the Dangari Ake Chingari. Unless there is somebody embedded, it will not come out the way we are presenting. We need to have somebody embedded. The Surveyor General cannot be doing boundary and doing agri and doing forestry. No, the Accountant General does not operate like that. He has people like police. There's DPO in every Angwa. So why can't we be like Obasanjo said? See? So I thank you, sir, and I thank you, doctor. Any other last question? Observation. Can we give to Surveyor Adebo? One night that matured in Gusau.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Let me join others to appreciate all our presenters. And actually, since yesterday, we have been having very good time with them. But unfortunately, I don't know what happened. The presentation on the screen is completely out of it. We couldn't enjoy anything on the screen. So we should help us look into it. It's really, really not helpful. The ICT people should solve that problem against future. Thank you very much, sir.
Today, if we remember, Dr. Issa was trying to say we should put off all the lights. He was very conscious of it. It's just that, you know, you don't know Dr. Issa, our chairman. He's a one-man riot squad. And those of us that know him, you know, you cannot be multifunctional. We have multi-purpose cadastra, but a human being cannot be multifunctional. So we must teach this, Dr. Musa Issa, that there is delegation of responsibility. There's multitasking. You teach him multitasking, then he's multitasking himself. You can't be chairman and be ICT at the same time. It's impossible. Like he's not here now. He's multitasking. We thank him. He's a brilliant man. If there are no any other questions, I want to hand over to him. But his chair is...
Thank you, the chairperson of the session. I'm sorry I missed most part of the presentations, but from what I could glimpse out of the questions that were raised, I think I would like to make 1 or 2 contributions. First of all, regarding the 30-meter resolution that was used by Uju, I think the high target software now have satellite imagery of 1 meter resolution. You know, high target has gone beyond manufacture of instrument now. They are on software. And the latest they have developed is 1 meter resolution flood predictive analysis from satellite. And the beauty of it is during our meeting with them in China last month or so, they opted that since it is a new product, they will give free at least 5 kilometers square. What you need to do is to send them the coordinate of the area that you want to control your flooding, particularly urban flooding. Now, small urban areas which are about just 5 square kilometers or so, I think we can be able to do that with them, and they'll give it for free. I will share the link with you. I've been trying to reach it out, but my handset really got off the battery got off. So that will be an improvement. If you need something higher than 5 kilometers, square kilometers, you have to pay for that. So the second contribution I want to make is the issue of establishment of grazer reserves. There is a National Executive Council paper also on issues of establishment of grazer reserves together with cattle ranching. I think the paper, I was at the National Executive Council at that time. We went there, and the former Minister of Agriculture, I think he made presentation, but I still have that presentation. So some of the most important guidelines are also there. I hope I can trace the paper and share it with you. The last one is I want us to distinguish between 3 or 4 sometimes interrelated terminologies. The issue of a grazer reserve, issues of forest reserve, and issues of CFA. Like CFA, that's what I'm coming to. Like my Oga here said, the term reserved means there is a gazetting. For forest areas, we have forest reserves that have been gazetted by the governor in council. Underline that word, in council. He cannot stand up alone and say, okay, I've done that. He has to bring it to the executive council and get approval. And there has to be issued a gazette over that area has gazetted as a forest reserve. There are also some guidelines and prohibitions. As an example, you cannot farm in a forest reserve. You cannot graze your cattle in the forest reserve. You cannot have all the roads that have crossed the forest reserve. They are already gazetted inside that reserve. Like in Kaduna, I know we have 99 forest reserves and 313 CFS. CFS means community or communal forest areas. They are interchangeable. Some call them community, some call them for... those ones don't need to be gazetted. They are made by the community for the purpose of the community, for collection of firewood, for environmental protection and other things. So these are the two regarding the forest reserves. One is gazetted, one is not gazetted. Regarding the grazing areas, there are grazing reserves also. Those are the reserves that has been, maybe sometimes forest reserves were later converted into grazing reserve. Like Ruma, Kuka, Jangari, which borders Kaduna and Zamfara, right from Jibia up to Kaduna state border. It's a massive land mass, so it was a forest reserve before we converted. So the issue is, this reserve has to be gazetted. There has to be a gazette notice issued in terms of forest reserve. The other aspect, commensurating the CFS, is Ruga. Well, a lot of us say Ruga, we hear Ruga, we feel Ruga is either household or Fulani word. But Ruga is an acronym, English word acronym for rural grazing area. That's the meaning of Ruga. It's not household, it's not Fulani word, it's not everybody's word. So when Nigerians were fighting over Ruga, we felt as if it is imposition of something new by the north or thereabout. No, it has been there since colonial time. It stands for rural grazing area. Those rural grazing areas were also established by the rural community for the sake of the rural communities only. So government, that was the native authority. Government of the state at that time, they don't have any consideration over Ruga, but it's for the rural area. In most cases, I don't know what Malik has said, but those rural grazing areas and the grazing areas gazetted, they usually go hand in hand with all the facilities. I think there's something like Fulani Amendments Act in northern Nigeria about 19 35 or thereabout, I can't recall the time, which says that in all the rural grazing areas, I mean the grazing areas, there has to be schools, there has to be hospitals, there has to be watering point, etc., etc. It's a complete set of settlement where people can live and live with their animals. So thank you. These are the little information I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Just as he was talking, it dawned on me that a lot of us know Surveyor Mohammed Yahya as an elder in NSF, but you don't know some of his background. Now, forgive me for what I'm going to do to you, sir. You know, you are my senior and you used to oppress me. So I'm taller than you. And yesterday we did something that I'm going to ask because you are the only one here that didn't do it. Yesterday we introduced all former SGs. Coco. So, Allah Boy is a former SG and a former SG and a former presidential. So don't, you just came. We've discussed the fact that he signed the president of NIS. You were not here by then. So we know that part. But please, can I beg you, sir, to introduce yourself to this generation? Some of us don't know who you are and your pedigree. And when you use some words, some of us understand, but not everybody is AU or Malandi. Thank you. These are his boys. They know him better than us. Could you please give him the...
Well, so, my name is Mohammed Yahya. I'm a land surveyor. And I worked in the public service. I worked in the private sector. Now I'm retired, almost semi-retired from surveying. I'm a farmer. And I do a little bit of politics. You can finish.
He is the modern version of your height. Please, could we give him a hand of applause? Could we please give him a hand of applause? Mungwode.